Earlier, you were given a challenge to convert this design, which was shared to you via Figma, um, to convert this design using the Bootstrap, which all of you actually did pretty well when it comes to converting the design. Now is the time to actually use that design and all the converted items and merge it so it becomes a single page application, which is called as a screener app or a screener tool. I'm going to first show you a demo how you are required to actually convert that, and then finally we'll start it from the scratch, and we'll use some of the elements which are already coded, um, as to save our time. So to actually let's just first see the demo. And so this is your app where you have a one button, and there are three elements over there, which is like giving some sort of an information. So let's suppose when I click what is COVID-19, it's going to show me information about it. And if let's suppose what are the symptoms, I'm going to see the details about it. Same goes for how to prevent it, and so on. So this was just an information section. Then another section was the screening part. Over here, there are certain questions. The screen that you actually built over here was used for this purpose. And then you had to simply say yes or no if in case you have certain symptoms, or whether they exist or not. And as per it, when once your all the answers are done, we use some sort of script to actually compile those answers and give the result and the outcome. For that reason, I've already created a gist where you can find all the questions and all the calculations, and same goes for the result one, result two, and result three. If let's suppose question 1, 2, 4, 8, 9, and 6, if all of them says a yes, and question 3, 5, 7, 10 says yes or a no, then result will be 1, which is this one. So you're going to show the screen number 1. If the answer of the question 2, 1, 4 is yes, and the answer of question 3, 6, 5, 7, 10 is yes or no, and 8 and 9 is also yes or a no, then we can just simply go for result 2. Same goes for, and if both the conditions are not met, then we are going to actually show the result 3. So let's see how we can actually code this. So I've already shown you the demo. This is what we are expected to do, which is go through a simple questionnaire, which will be provided to you, and then you're going to output the result accordingly. So I'm just going to remove this code entirely, going to delete it, and we'll create a file. Some files do exist already, which is like a CSS file for your Bootstrap, which I am going to link now to the CDN. So I'm not going to use this one, but I'm going to keep the custom file because for additional code we can actually use that. Same goes for the image. The image folder will be provided to you, so you don't need to code that. You can simply download that and create a folder called as image and just drag and drop over there. For JavaScript, you no longer need them, so we're going to delete them. We're going to use the CDN for this, and this file even, let me delete it. Okay, so once this is done, now I'm going to create an index file, and oops, I need this to be, okay, we'll delete this. Going to go over here, and we'll create the file again. Okay, let's start with the basic HTML document. Let's come back over here, we'll refresh, nothing exists. Now, we're going to actually start with the first part. So most of you already have done this, which is converting the initial page. So I'm going to reuse this from this particular part. So let's just do that. And I'm going to provide this. This is like a basic HTML. I don't want you to actually waste your time over there because this is something that you have already done. In case if you don't understand it, I'm going to actually explain it to you again. So, okay, no CSS exists. So we're going to go to Bootstrap, documentation, include some CSS, CDN. Then I'm going to use the jQuery. I'm going to include actually jQuery and Bootstrap script files, because this time we're going to actually we are going to actually use the jQuery and some components from the Bootstrap even. Because as I said, I no longer want it to be on multiple pages. I want this to be compiled as a single file, not with as a single file as a single page application. So let's just go back, see how it looks. Okay, it's looking better. And we had some custom CSS events, so I'm going to include that too. Okay, and CSS slash custom dot CSS. Let's just refresh again. Okay, this looks better. Now, so we have our first page already created, just like you guys. Just that I wanted to save my time. I just use the existing code over there. In the code, it's pretty straightforward that there is a container. We can remove this. There is a container over here, then there is a row which I have called it as a header, and then this whole part I have called as a header, and then within it I have a column 8. So this part is column 8, and this part is column 4. So under it is basically logo, and then you have certain headings, and then obviously p element. I have done a mistake over here. I should actually have used h1 over here, because obviously the name has a higher priority. Then there is a button, which is a row, and simply I'm placing a button because I want this. I actually want this complete row over there, for you can say complete width. Then within it, I have this part for the more information. I'm using called 12. So I'm calling it a list header. It's some more information for each list. There is again I'm using call 10 and call 2. Call 2 is for this part, and call 10 is for this part. Within it, again, I have created another row with 4 column for this and 8 column for this one, and so on. So this is how I actually have coded this design. Uh, Now the next part is that we are going to obviously create the questionnaire and the information section. The point to note is, let's suppose the normal case could have been that you could have clicked this link and it could have actually opened the next page or the next file. You can say the index file or index1.html, index2.html, or whatever is the name. But we don't want to do that. We want to use some existing capability of the Bootstrap, which are the components. So we're going to go over here in the documentation. I'm going to extend this. And over here, you can learn about the components from by going into the component section. And the feature that we are using is the modal. So when someone was clicking a certain link, I want that to open as a modal. So for example, if this is a button, I'm going to open it, and this is your header and this is your body, the content. So we can actually replicate this model with our app even. So when someone actually clicks, for instance, this arrow, we will open our modal, and that should take the entire space and show the information. So to do that, we are going to first learn how you can include the modal. So it's pretty straightforward that so whether it's a button or a link, you just need over there data toggle equals to modal, data target equals to the target ID. So whatever the div you have, let's suppose if you're using the same model concept, you're going to have an ID over there and you're going to target that. That should just do the job. So for example, I'm going to copy this, and let's just place it at the top right, and data toggle is equals to modal, and we'll copy this for now. And over there, starts over the start screening button, I'm going to place this. So okay, so data toggle is equals to button, and start screening is equals to example model. So if I will refresh and click this, the modal appears. In short, it's pretty straightforward that you just need to include the JavaScript from the Bootstrap and just need to follow the way. I mean, you can say just follow the procedure or just follow the example code in order to include this over your site. Now let's start actually. So I'll remove this code for now. Okay, we're going to code this stepwise. So I'm gonna first replicate the this sort of a model for my information section, and then we'll actually replicate it for the questionnaire. So let's just start with the first part, which is over here, the what is COVID-19, and then there is arrow over here, and I'm going to place the data toggle model, which I have already, as in in the entire row. So when the entire row gets clicked, that modal actually appears. So we'll first copy the modal, you can say the modal design, or you can say modal HTML. That's a lot more easier. So we go back to over here. There are certain options we have. If, for example, if you have a long content, you can follow this. If you have if you want something to be vertically centered, you can even follow this model, which is like obviously just need to copy these classes. That's about it. So let's just start. I'm gonna copy the first one, and then we'll further modify it. So we will copy this, and for our easiness, I'm going to place this at the very bottom. I will need the header. So as per my design requirement, I had the header with the logo, but I don't need the footer, which is the bottom section. So I'm going to remove this. So let's just do that. Okay. Do we need the modal title over there? No, we don't. We just need the button. We just need this to be replaced by what you call as the image. So we will link this with the logo. Image source is equals to img slash logo dot png. Then you have, I'm going to give this a class img logo, and this is done. Obviously, I have to replace the ID now. So for my first row, it's called as symptom. Sorry, it's called as COVID. So we'll place that over here. Um, ID. Okay, so this is done. Now there's nothing more other than this. Let's just go and check whether it's functioning or not. Obviously we will need to replace. So okay, so we have the header already. Now we need to place the content. For that, what we will do it is we're going to go and copy the COVID-19 description, which is simple. You can go and copy paste from the gist. Again, I don't want you to type in everything. I just the concept is more important. So let's just refresh and check. So, okay, we have this thing developed. But as can be seen that the model has one issue, that it's not actually taking the entire space. So maybe we will need to do something about it and make it, cover it entirely on the screen. So let's just see some code over here, and maybe we can modify this to take the entire space. So in the modal dialog, okay, we have some margin which we don't want. So that should just make this part over there. And this one modal dialog is relative. Maybe if I say fixed and I make it 100% as in height, does that okay? And what if I make it white? Okay, it does actually covers our entire need. So I'm going to go into custom.css. We'll place it over there, and that should just do the part. So first part is done. Now I'm okay. The next part is let's just make the live server on, and so it will become easier for us to actually just see the entire application in on the go. So open live server and right click. If you are not aware how you can actually do this, you can simply, there is an extension over here which I've installed. It's called as live server. So for all the index.html files, you can actually do that. So you can see the output at the same time. So for example, if I am changing something over here, it's going to auto refresh and will auto display over here. So just see, uh, saved, and this paragraph will appear over here. So you don't need to refresh again and again. That's the advantage. Now we're going to go and do the same for the what are symptoms. Again, just replicate the modal over here. Let's do it all together. Modal 2, 3, and that was the modal 1. So easier for us to remember that, okay, which modal it was. I'm going to go and check what are the symptoms. It was probably the symptoms which I had used. I'm gonna go in and check. Okay, so it was symptoms. We'll copy it again and we'll place it into my second model. Now it's going to refresh and check. Okay, model 2 is appearing, but obviously the content is not the same. We are going to go into the symptoms and we'll copy paste the HTML to save our time. Okay, so that should just make the second part active. Let's check. So the second part is active event. So that is done. How can you prevent it? Is the third part. So third model. Let's just check it from over here. What we were calling it prevent. Um, Make sure that you actually add this. I had this already added, so I'm not adding them. Remember that you need to add data toggle attribute and also data target attribute with the ID. So now ID, we're going to change this ID along with I'm going to place in the HTML for the prevention. You already have converted this design, so I mean, no point in actually retyping everything again. Let's just go back again and check. So we have this built, we have this done. There's one slight mistake. You're seeing that the scroller is not working. So we're going to check that later on. But more or less, we have this part done. Now, the next thing is the screening part. So we need to have a modal for the screening as well. And inside that, we're going to type in the HTML for the questionnaire. So let's just start with that. Let's shrink it a bit more. Okay. Now let's just go over there, scroll up. Okay. And for the start screening, I'm going to replicate from over here. I'm going to add this, call it be a modal as well, and I'm going to call it screening. So once that is done, okay, let's just remove this for now. Data target screening. So now we're going to go back again. It's going to be the fourth modal that we will be creating. Um, Again, following the same procedure and everything, nothing that complicated. And this time it'd be screening. Model 4 will be screening. Okay, so this is done. Just to check whether this is functioning or not. Yes, it's functioning. I'm going to remove this all, which was in the body content, and will probably, as per my requirement, I needed the header and a questionnaire, an image, and two buttons. So let's just go and create one. But remember that there are multiple questions, so we will need to do something about that. So image and this part remains same. Now we're going to code in the questionnaire. So to do that, let's just create a container, and within the container we will need obviously the row for the question, and we can make the question to be QH3. And for now, we just give it question as a label, and then there wasn't one image. So let's just connect to one.png, and then there were two buttons inside it. So let's just wrap them within, um, or maybe call them bottom something. Okay, so then let's now add the button and we will give them a class, because we are using Bootstrap. We can use button primary over there, btn and btn primary. Then we want this to be large, so I'm going to use large over there, and I can even use the block over there, because that is something I wanted to take the entire space. So let's do that. And the first button will always say yes I do, and the other person say no I don't. Let's suppose I don't have a symptom, I'll say no I don't have a simple symptom. Okay, let's see how it goes now over here. So start screening. Oh, the image looks a little odd, but I think more or less we have the layout ready. So let's just go and fix this. I'm going to add over here, like this is my question section. So I'm going to give a class question, and let's see. Okay. And using this, I'm going to target this image, and we'll make it 100%. So that's fine. And for the bottom, maybe I want to just make it stick to the bottom all the time. So bottom position, absolute bottom, 0 pixels. Mm, okay, so okay, one issue is over here which we need to resolve. Somehow the height. Maybe give it some height altogether. Why not just make it 100%, and rather than using this, oops, looks bad. Okay, let's just check. Maybe I have done a mistake. Row is fine. Q3 is for the question. This is my, oh, there must be something which is causing it. Lock with 80% maximum. We already have a bottom which is causing this issue. I'm going to define the class differently over here. Bottom, can call it bottom question. That'd be a better option. Start screening. Okay. This could, the possible reason could be that I didn't actually cleaned up the custom file. So that is the reason why we are actually having this issue. But not to worry. We go back to question, and we target image again. Now we, okay, that's fine. We're going to target the buttons again, and width to be 100%. See, still there is certain issue which, okay, this is fine. This is fine. It's coming after it. So all good with that. Maybe I can add over here 20 pixels auto, and okay, this is fine. Then the bottom question. Oh yes. Now, okay. Sorry for that. Position fixed. Okay, now it sticks to the bottom, so that's fine. CSS again, you can do whatever way you want to. There is no issue. I mean the main stuff is over here is to actually um, give you an idea how you can combine both together. Maybe there is a limit, or there is some conflicting class which is causing this. Let's just check. Hmm, Nothing. It seems all right. Oh, maybe we give it this width to be 100%. Oh, okay, that's fine, but looks a little odd. I'm gonna do this. Okay, so remove this. Remove this. I think this looks fine now. More or less, it's near to what we needed. So I'm gonna copy this from the inspector. Copy this. Paste it at the bottom. Let's just refresh. Okay, this looks fine. Uh, okay, so now we're going to copy paste the question from one of the gist. So we'll actually copy this entire list of questions and we'll open up again. Okay, go to index file. So remember one thing that we have around like 10 questions. In short, we need some way to actually like convert this. I mean, some sort of a way that we can have this row replicated, and then we will need to use the show and the height feature to actually show the questions one by one. So to do that, let's just call this Q1. We'll copy paste the questions over here for our reference. Then we'll replace this Q and okay, this is fine. We'll replace the H3. I mean, we had the question over there, so we'll replace that. We're going to actually see over here that it is replaced. If I'm going to replace this and click this, you can see it's more or less like the one I showed you earlier. Now for Q2, do the same and copy paste this. For your easiness, I have already renamed the images. So you just need to follow the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That should just take you to the 10 questions images. No need to actually go and search. That should just save your time. Q3, Q4, Q5, Q6, Q7, Q8, Q9, Q10. Okay, so Q2, I'm going to rename the classes now. Q2, Q3, Q4, Q5, Q6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so this is done. Now let's just copy paste the questions. Q3, Q4, going into Q4 and copy pasting again. Then Q5, mm, then Q6. Okay, so we have Q6, then Q7, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Oh, obviously, creating these apps take a bit of time. I mean, definitely takes time and obviously requires a good amount of practice. But I think if you will follow this, definitely you will actually learn the skill. So 8 is replaced, 9 is replaced. I'm going to replace the 9, and then finally 10. So we have our questions ready, but obviously they won't. I mean, if we will actually, I mean, it's sort of a messy actually. So we are going to create some way or some classes that should actually hide them. So to do that, we can actually use row as a case. So for example, if we target question.row, hide them all. That will make sure that because all of them had rows, all of them were wrapped under the rows, they all will be hidden. So if we actually do that, so question dot row, going to hide everything, right? So nothing to worry. I mean, you don't need to worry about that. But if, let's suppose, if there is an active class, and now if the question dot, if you're going to target active and make it display block, then that particular row gets active. So this is how your function, you're going to show one div at a time. So, and with Java, with the help of JavaScript and the jQuery, we are going to actually know the state of the current question and will show the next question. So let's just copy this and paste it in the custom file. If you refresh, only one question is available at one time. So, and then only the last tree now is missing, which is like we need a way to actually express the result. Obviously, all the screens are hidden, so that's the reason. I'm going to place in the active class over here, so only Q1 gets visible. On Wait, let's see. Is Okay, Q1 active. Let's check. Okay, the precedence issue was causing it. Now it should be good. Yep, it's fine. Next thing is obviously building the result page. So for that, let's just, I mean, within the div, we can do this. I mean, within this modal, we can do that. So what we are going to do is we're going to create another row, and we have three results, if you remember: result one, result two, and result three. Because question.row is already hidden, so I mean nothing to worry about that part, that it will display with the other question. I'm gonna give it result one as a class one, and we'll hide this. There will be result two, and there will be result three, two and three. And we can go back to the page where we had the results listed. So this could be your result one, this could be your result 2, and this could be your result 3. Again, up to you. You can give it H3 or something. Let's just maybe do that actually. H3, H3, H3. And to save my life, I'm not going to use the list for now. I'm just going to use the paragraphs, and we'll simply display them for now. Later on, you guys can actually work on their alignment and all the stylings. So, okay, H3 is over there, paragraph P is over there, and we can use break for now. Simply separate them. Otherwise, the proper way is to use the lists over here. Okay, so if we will go now and check. So this is the screening. We're going to remove this active class, and we'll go down and see how our result one looks like. So this is our result one, very, very near to the one that we had in demo. Then active two, when the result two is active. So again, very much near to that. So more or less, we have achieved the HTML part. Now let's just go back and start coding for the next part, which is using the JavaScript and the jQuery. Okay, to do that, we're going to create a function. Somehow, what we need to do it is that we're going to need what answer user made and at what question user was. So if, let's suppose, I'm on question number one, somehow I should know that, okay, I am at question number one and I have answered yes. If, let's suppose, I've answered no, somehow I should tell the function that this is question number one, and I have answered question number two. And probably, if, let's suppose, if you want to further make it better, or I mean, there are two ways to control the whole flow, like showing the question number two. One is that you actually tell within the function which question to show next. In some cases, that also is a case that the questionnaire is very flexible. then you need to create a function which tells that okay, this question will appear next. And same goes, and the other way is obviously just you have a counter and then you just use that counter to um, demo the questions or display the question. So let's just create the script for now. I'm gonna create a function. We'll call it record answers, and we're going to record the answers within an array actually. So that could be the case where within the function we are going to get like a simple question number could be the one thing. So we can call it q number. The other thing that we can have is which answer user made. And another stuff is the next question. Either you create your own counter to control that, or you just you just control the whole stuff. Maybe if let's suppose the logic could be if the question number is zero, that means there is no next question. You now do the calculation and show me the results. So let's just go and use this function. Just you need to use the on click event over there on the buttons to do that. There are other ways even. I'm just using the most simplest one for now. So there is no right and wrong. It's just that which one is the most simplest for now in order to just understand the whole flow. So this was my Q1. And this is my answer one. And I want to show the two. Question number two from over here. Same goes for the button. Only thing different is this is my question number one, and but now the answer is number two. We're going to replicate this in the entire buttons. So, and then we'll just simply change the question numbers and the answer numbers. That's it, and also the next question. But once we have reached question number 10, we are going to change that to like zero. So I want system to know that okay, tell me the answer now because I don't have further questions to ask. So over here, the next question will be so zero because I just want the use I just want the system to calculate the answers for now. So this is question number 10, answer one and answer two. So this we are done. We want to show 10 over here, and this is your one answer, this is your two answer, and we are at ninth question. Same goes for them. So we are at eighth, one, and ninth we are going to show. Now we are at seventh, and we are going to 1, 2, and we're going to show 8. Um, now we are at 6, 1 and 2, and we are going to show what 7 over here. Going back again, 5th, and 1 and 2, and over here it's 5. There are other ways even that like you could have just used jQuery to detect the button click, and then use the data attributes to actually call the question number and answer number. But for now, we are using this method. It's nothing to worry. 1, 2, and this is your 5, and this is your 5, and question number 4 is next. One answer and two answer, and this is my question number 3, and this is my question number 2. I'm going to display the third question, answer 1 and 2. So now if you want to check on button click whether what answers are coming, we can go in and check using console log and queue number. We can check queue number and answer number and then and question. So as we will click a button, you will see them in the console. What sort of what happens? So if I say yes, 1, 1, 2. So my question was 1. My question was 1. My answer was 1. But I want to show now the next question, which is question number 2. So if I say now 1, second, actually, no, I don't. That means my question number is 1. My answer is number 2. but I want to show now screen number 2. So let's just make this active. So to open the screen, okay, let's just first, so we have them now. Okay, I'm not going to store the answers for now. I'm just going to make the screen run through. So if the question number is greater than 0, right, then, sorry, next question number is greater than 0, then what we want to do it is we're going to actually show the next screen. So to do that, we're going to first hide the current screen using this method. And there is another method of jQuery which can show, which is simply show method. Now, how can you actually detect which one to show, which one to not? So you can just go over here. You can see in the entire list of question, we had one row common, which is dot row, which is what we used over here to hide. We're going to use this to again hide just in case any row is active, right? And in fact, what we can do it is, rather than hiding, maybe the best way is to remove that class. So yes, sorry for it. We can use over here remove class too, which is if any row has an active class, just remove that. And whatever is the question number, so if the question number is, if it's if the next question number, let's suppose, is 2, so it's going to access dot q2, and within it add the class active now. Sorry for that. That's just like, I was firstly assuming that we're going to use show and the height. That also you can use, but it's going to further complicate things. So I'm using over here remove class and add class method. What it does is, it's simple, that it's going to remove the class active from these particular rows, and then going to specifically add the class to this particular class name. So if whether it's, let's suppose, q2.q2 add class active. So if you're going to see this now, start, yes, no, yes, no, you can already see that that we have reached to a point where, okay, start screening, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Why it got stuck? Let's check. So yes, because we have an error over here, 515. It should be 516. We go in, check. These sort of errors you are going to face. So no need to get confused. Which is, you're seeing the images are not changing. That's because we didn't change these images. So that's the reason. Q3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So now our flow should be all good. So already we can see this is all functioning. Obviously, if you have reached to the last question, it's giving the 0. And we had the condition only if we have the question to be greater than 0, then display, then basically move to the next, otherwise display the result. So now we're going to actually work towards the display part. So for that, we will first need to store the answers, and using the answers, we're going to actually do the calculation. So firstly, let's define a variable, call it answers, and it can be an array because we are going to store that. And within the array, what we are going to do it is answers q number equals to ans, which is just storing the answers within it. So whatever is the answer, you're going to store it over here. So that's it. Now, after that, the next part is, so if the condition, let's suppose, doesn't meet, now obviously that means we need to actually show the answers. So how can we do that? We're going to have, we're now going to use these conditions which we defined earlier, which was result calculations. So maybe I can just bring it over here. So if you see, we need to access uh, all these q1, q2, q3. So to do that simple, if it's an array, all you can do it is q1 equals to answer 1, right? And just copy this 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to do the I'm going to do actually the first part of the result only. And so your job will be obviously to complete this app and show the other cases. So that would be basically your challenge apart from developing this app. So okay, so if q1 is equals to q1 24896 is equals to yes, which is yes means a one value, and 3, 5, 7, and 10 means yes or a no, which is one or a two value, then you will need to show it as a result one. So let's just do that. Q1 equals to, maybe there's another way you can actually check all the conditions. So I'm just going to use the advanced form, which is Q1, Q2, um, Q4, Q8, and Q9, Q6. If any one of them equals to 1, then it's if it's 1, it's yes, then we actually look into the next part, which is 3, 5, and 7. But there is an and condition in between. And we are going to do this, and it's 3, 5, and 10. You can even do it one by one, so that's also fine. If it's one or a two, then what we want to show it is result one. So for now, I'm gonna say alert result one. Let's see whether this functions or not. So we're going to answer q1 2 4 8 9 as 1. Q1, q2, q3 could be 1 or 2 either. Q8, Q9. In fact, everyone we answered 1, result 1 is displayed. Now let's try and say no, 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 no to all. Nothing gets displayed because the condition isn't met. So that means this logic is all working. You now need to implement the next result 2, result 3. So over here, we're going to actually use the show method, or again, we can even use over here the class method. Again, there's no harm in using both. I could actually, okay, I'm going to show you with this. Let's just do that. Going to hide everything, remove class active, and then uh, if you remember, that was called as result one. So if it's result one, row dot result one or add class active, that should just do the job. Let's check. Start meaning I'm going to say yes, 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 and I got the result. So now your task is to complete this app, which is create result 2 and also result 3. The further improvement could have been, I mean, if you ask me what you can further improve over here, there's something like maybe I could have actually include over here a progress bar, maybe at the bottom. That should just make it look better. So, for example, when I say yes or no, the progress bar should appear at the bottom. It should be visible. That should be, I mean, it will look super actually.